Hello everyone. Today I will be giving my thoughts and opinions on the new archetype that was recently released on ygorganization called the Prankids. First, I do have to say, their artwork looks amazing. It sort of has the early morning cartoon, Saturday morning cartoon feeling for me. I just love the cartoony art style and how it's very colorful on each of the cards. And let me tell you, the fusion boss monster looks totally amazing. First off, let's go to the first Prankid called Prankids Pulse. He's a level 1 Wind Thunder type effect monster with 0 attack and 2000 defense. The effect reads, you can only use the effect of this card's name once per turn. First effect, if this card is sent to the graveyard as a fusion or link material for a Prankids monster, you can send a Prankids from your deck to the graveyard except a Prankids Pulse. Then you can special summon one Prankids monster from your hand or deck in defense position except for Prankids Pulse. Now, I really like that effect personally. Overall, it seems like this whole archetype has a theme around spamming. It sort of reminds me of Ajamas in Duel Links, if you ever use that. But I really enjoy the thought of you being able to use this as a fusion material and it being able to pretty much 1-for-1 another Prankid into your graveyard, which will be useful later, and be able to bring out another one to replace itself. The second monster is Prankid's Ramp. Level 3 Pyro Effect monster with 1500 attack and 500 defense. So not the worst stat line ever for a level 3 monster with 1500 attack. It's pretty decent. You can only use this effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard as a fusion or link material for a Prankids monster, you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent. Then special summon one Prankids monster from your hand or deck in defense position except for a Prankids Ramp. Now, I guess, yeah, I do like that effect. I like the 1-for-1 effect of Pulse a little better than Ramp's effect, but it never hurts having a little bit of burn damage. While 500 burn damage isn't going to make or break the game, it actually could make a difference with these new time rules. You could summon this, fusion summon, and I guess the burn damage could make an effect, but I really enjoy how all these monsters have a central theme of replacing themselves when used for a link or fusion summon. Let's get to the last main deck monster, called Prankids Drop. It's a level 2 Water Aqua effect monster with 1000 attack and 1000 defense. It's not awful. At least it has sub attack. I would like to have a little more as a level 2, but I'm not gonna cry. You can only use this effect with this card's name once per turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard as fusion or link material for Prankids monster, you can get 1000 life points, and then special summon one Prankids monster from your hand or deck in defense position except for Prankids Drop. I do have to say I like the effect of Drop better than Ramps, but I don't like it as much as the 1-for-1 effect. But getting 1000 life points never hurts. Again, going into time, this could be a 1500 point swing if you use Ramp and Drop, which can win you a game. And also, gaining life points never hurts when you have things such as Solemn Warning, Solemn Strike in the meta, and also you have cards such as Trick Stars in the meta right now who burn your opponent, so it never hurts having more life points than not getting any. Well, now we are going to the fusion boss monster. Let's see about that. It is called Prankids House Battle Butler. It is a level 10 Wind Thunder fusion effect monster with 3000 attack and 3000 defense. And to summon this monster, the materials require Prankids Lamp, Prankids Drop, and Prankids Pulse. So looks like you're going to need all 3 of those main deck monsters, unless you are going to be running King of the Swamp anytime soon. Now, according to this effect, this card cannot be special summoned except by a fusion summon. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. So I guess you do have to fusion summon to get this card out. There are no other ways of cheesing it. Let's read the first effect. Quick effect. You can tribute this card. Destroy all monsters your opponent controls. Wow. Jeez. Always having a Raigeki effect is pretty dang good. That's why it's limited. So even though it tributes itself, it clears its field. It clears your whole opponent's field. And if you do fusion summon, if this is the same turn you fusion summon this monster for, you end up replacing, all those Prankids monsters end up replacing each other. And so you're going to have three of those monsters on the field still. And so you can definitely get some good damage in from this effect. It definitely helps that the main deck monsters, really have a good floating effect. The second effect. If this card is sent to the graveyard by your opponent, you can target one monster in your graveyard, except for its fusion monster, so summon that monster. Now always having a good floating effect is always nice. Floating is always beneficial. I mean, just look at BA. They float to the end of time, and they're still getting tops 3-4 years down the road from when they were released. Floating really is insane. Now, that's a pretty good boss monster, I'd have to say, and it's a lot easier to get it, to special summon it, due to the abilities of replacing each other for the pulse, drop, and ramp to replace each other when it's used as materials for a fusion summon. Now let's get to the Link monster. The name is Prankids Roragon. It's a level 4 Water Aqua Link effect monster with 3000 attack. Link's top, left, right, bottom. Materials, 2 or more Prankids monsters. The effect reads, this card cannot be special summoned except by Link summon. I don't know if you can. I guess bring it back with the fusion monster then, Battle Butler. That would have been really nice if you would have been able to bring it back. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once returned. First effect. It's a quick effect. You can tribute this card, destroy all spell and trap cards your opponent controls. Harpy's Feather Duster? There's a reason why it's banned. That is very good. I guess I sort of see this deck becoming a huge swarm deck where you can take out your opponent's monsters with your fusion boss monster or spells and traps with your Link boss monster in order to maybe try to push for game or just try to get maybe like 3000 damage in a little bit chip by chip. But I really do like how this deck seems like it's going to play out and how it's based on all swarming to the field and just pretty much going for it all. It reminds me a little bit of Gem Knights in that way. How you just keep on special summoning, trying to get out your big monsters in that way. Now let's get to the spell card. I believe it's a fusion card. It is Prankids on the Loose. It's a quick play spell card. The effect reads, during either player's main phase, fusion summon 1 Prankids fusion monster from the extra deck, using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material, but for the rest of the turn, you cannot no more special summon monsters except for Prankids monsters. It's pretty much a quick play polymerization. While that is nice, you can't use it in the battle phase, which is, a huge bummer, because you could attack with the 3 Prankids and then fusion summon in the battle phase. Sort of like, I believe, a little bit of El Shaddoll Fusion, you could do that, if that is the quick play spell card I'm thinking of. But, gosh, I wish it wasn't restricted to the main phase, because else this deck could have pretty much been a pretty good OTK deck. Now, getting on to another fusion monster that was revealed, is called Prankids Rocket. It's a Fire Pyro fusion monster that's level 5 with 2000 attack and 0 defense, with 2 Prankids monsters as its fusion materials. That's nice, being generic in that way with having Prankids monsters. This really reminds me of Ajama Knight and the Ajamas. You can only use this card's names, first effect and second effects, once return each. First effect reads, if this card is fusion summoned, you can activate this effect. For the rest of the turn, have this card lose 1000 attack, but if you do, it can attack your opponent directly this turn. Now I can see that being pretty useful due to this deck trying to spam so much, really trying to put damage in one big push. And so if you're not able to OTK someone in one big push, this will be a good way to try to finish them off if they did manage to survive and make a field, recover and make the board again. And so I could see that being okay in some situations, but not too often. The second effect reads, you can tribute this card, then target 2 non-fusion Prankids monsters with different names in your graveyard, special summon them, and also they cannot attack this turn. This effect could have been so nice if it didn't have that last, they can also not attack. Gosh, when I look at this deck, it's just a swarm deck that just wants to produce monsters and then attack and, fusion summon. And so I would think to have this deck actually do well, to have this card attack and then tribute it for 2 other main deck monsters and being able to attack with them. But I guess this card really sets up the boss monster, the fusion boss monster, the Battling Butler, because if you have 1 Prankid monster on the field, but you need the 2 others, you can always special summon them from your graveyard if you use them for this effect, or if you dumped it with the 1-for-1 effect. So it's not the worst in the world, but I really wish they could attack the turn that this effect was used. Getting to the last fusion monster that was revealed, it is called Prankids Weather. It's a level 5 Water Aqua Fusion effect monster with 2000 attack and 0 defense. Again, 2 Prankids monsters for fusion materials, and you can only use the second effect of this card once per turn. The first effect reads, if a Prankids monster you control attacks, your monster cannot activate effects until the end of the damage step. The second effect reads, during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can tribute this card, then target 2 Prankids monsters with different names in your graveyard. Except fusion monsters, special summon them, and if you do, they cannot be destroyed by battle this turn. I guess if your opponent's trying to push and kill you this turn, you are able to use this card to, I guess, try to survive, and since the Prankids can't be destroyed by battle, and if they don't have any other ways to get rid of them, you do have materials to set up another fusion summon next turn to try to potentially break the board. Maybe you can summon the big fusion monster again, Battling Butler, so that you can use the Raigeki effect. Overall, I really enjoy the artwork of the Prankids, and I enjoy their effects overall about how to... The 1-for-1 in the graveyard actually looks pretty nice now, looking at the level 5 fusions, the special summon effect by tributing the 2 level 5 fusions. And overall, I think it sounds like I think it's appearing to be a fun little archetype. You know, it's not gonna be breaking any grounds unless they have some big fusion monster that's released, but I don't know if that's going to happen in the future due to the 3 main deck monsters being water, fire, and wind, and they have 3 fusion monsters of those 3 attributes. So I don't know if they'll be getting any more fusion monsters in the future, but it sounds like it's going to be a pretty fun archetype. Just, you know, a fun swarm archetype, being able to tag in and out, link summon, fusion summon, get rid of your opponent's monsters. I mean, I still find it crazy that they put the Harpy Feather Duster and Raigeki effect on those monsters. I think it's going to be a fun archetype, like I said, and I can't wait to try it out when it comes out. Now, that's all I have for today, so I hope you all have a great day.